You know that simple roll of white fabric you see in literally every first aid kit? Well, today we're going to unwrap what makes it so incredibly important. We're talking about absorbent gauze, and you might be surprised by how much this little roll can actually do.
Okay, so let me ask you a quick question. Think about a scraped knee at the park, a small cut while you're cooking, or even something more serious that needs a cast. What's the one thing in your kit that can help with pretty much all of that? The answer is probably simpler than you think.
And yep, you guessed it. It's that humble, absorbent gauze roll. It really is so much more than just a roll of cotton. Its design is actually pretty brilliant, and the material itself is what makes it a real powerhouse for taking care of wounds.
So what is it exactly? Well, at its heart, absorbent gauze is a specially woven cotton fabric. And I say specially woven because this isn't just any old cloth. It's engineered specifically for three things: padding, protection, and just general wound management.
Now, here's a really important use case you might not have thought about. It's not just for covering cuts. For more serious injuries, it's the go-to material for that soft, protective layer that goes between your skin and a hard plaster cast. It's all about comfort, and believe it or not, it helps the healing process.
So, what's the big secret? Why does it work so well? Well, it all comes down to the cotton itself. Let's dive into exactly what makes this material the perfect choice.
It's these four things working together that make all the difference. Of course, it's got to be highly absorbent, that's a given. But it's also 100% woven cotton, which means it's breathable. And that term, chemically inert, that's just a fancy way of saying it's not going to react with your skin or cause any irritation, which is absolutely crucial.
And this quote right here really hits the nail on the head. When you're dealing with an injury, the last thing you want is for the bandage to make things worse. The goal is always maximum protection. And because this gauze is so soft and non-reactive, it does its job perfectly without causing any extra trouble.
Okay, so we know what it is and why it works. Now for the fun part. Let's get practical and talk about how you actually use this stuff when you need it.
This is where you really see how versatile it is. First off, for cuts, you apply it directly with pressure to help stop the bleeding. That high absorbency is key here. Second, for something like a sprain, you can use the whole roll to wrap and immobilize the area, which helps prevent any more damage. And third, like we talked about, it's that perfect soft barrier under a cast. It's like a first aid multi-tool.
All right, now here's a pro tip that a lot of people miss. How you store your gauze can actually make a huge difference. You want to make sure it's just as effective when you pull it out of the kit as the day you bought it, right?
It's actually super simple. Heat and moisture are the biggest enemies here, so always keep it in a cool, dry spot. Also, try not to store it for, years and years on end, because it can lose its effectiveness. It's a really good idea to just check the gauze in your first aid kit once a year, and replace it if you need to.
So let's wrap this all up, pun intended, and get down to the one key thing you should remember from all of this.
Here's the bottom line. Absorbent gauze is a true first aid hero. It's simple, sure, but its high-quality material and incredibly versatile design make it absolutely essential for everything from minor cuts to major injuries. Its simplicity is really its biggest strength.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. It's one thing to know the how and the why of a tool like this, but the real question is, are you actually prepared for the when? Now's a great time to check your own kit and make sure you're ready.